We come with that heat, we got skip on the.
Public Fades NFL Week 11 Best Bets here on Million Dollar Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back at it here in the second half of the NFL season. We didn't get off to a good start in the second half of this year's NFL season, I will say. Last week was the first week of the second half, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. 1-2 last week. 1-2. That is the first ever losing weekend here on Public Fades. And I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It's on me. We would have been 2-2 instead of 1-2 if I were able to get the video out before the Thursday night game. But considering the scheduling conflicts I had last week, I didn't manage my time well. And because of that, it cost me. It cost us. And I do apologize once again. But 1-2, the Thursday night game was the Raiders plus 9.5 against Denver. Denver ended up winning that one 10-7 in just a snooze fest. A couple 10-7 snooze fests this weekend, I will say. Also, I was going to say Ashton Genty touchdown. He scored one of the only 2 touchdowns in the game. So I still played those, but unfortunately didn't get the video out. So it's not going to count for the record. And yeah, because then if they would have lost, then nobody would have even known. I wouldn't have even mentioned it. But so yeah, that's what we're looking at. We did have one win last week. The Dolphins plus 9.5 at home against Buffalo. Miami won outright. 9.5 point underdogs won outright 30-13. Now, Tua still threw 2 interceptions. Don't forget that. But luckily for Miami, Devon Achane was an absolute monster on the ground last week. 22 carries, 174 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Tua also threw 2 touchdowns as well through the air. One went to Jalen Waddle. He had 5 catches for 84 yards. So Miami was able to stuff Buffalo pretty much all game. They did allow 2 touchdowns. Buffalo went for a 2-point conversion that was no good. And so the final in Miami last week, 30-13. And that was at 1 o'clock. I thought we were going to go undefeated after that one, if I'm being honest. But quickly after the Miami game, not even 2-3 minutes into the Seattle and Arizona Cardinals game last week, I knew we were not going undefeated, unfortunately. We took the Cardinals plus 7.5 in Seattle, ended up losing 44-22. 2 defensive touchdowns in the first half. It was 35-0 before Arizona scored a touchdown. Might have even been 38-0 before that first touchdown, right before the half for Arizona. Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? I'm sorry, but Jacoby Brissett tried to throw a couple balls, and as he got hit, he fumbled a couple balls, and those were scooped up and returned to the end zone. So it's hard to win a game when you have 2 defensive touchdowns against you. It's even harder when you find yourself down 35-0 in the first half. The back door was open. Arizona a couple times had an opportunity to come back and cover there later in the game, but each time Arizona scored a touchdown, then Seattle would just kick a field goal and extend the lead a little bit more. So really no shot for us in that one. From the jump. I mean, Seattle got the ball first. Looked like Arizona was doing a good job of holding them back early, and then a couple first downs led to a touchdown on the first drive for Seattle, and then the floodgates opened. So 1-1 going into our third play of the weekend, Monday Night Football. We had the Packers money line against the Eagles in Lambeau Field. 27 degrees outside. Yeah. So I did say last week And I am a man of my word. Okay. The Packers will never be a public fade ever again. Ever. I'm going back to the mantra that I came into this series with. I don't ever bet on my teams. Then there were a couple times that we were betting against Green Bay. And if the model works that way, then that will still be available for us. But anytime the model works for Green Bay, where 80% or more of the public's money is against Green Bay, we will not be, I may mention it, I may talk about the game, but I will not be taking that play. I just do it for the people. And unfortunately, the Packers let us down last week. The injury report was extensive for Green Bay. Couple of wide receivers out. The line's banged up. The line is awful. The line's the problem for the Packers offensively. Defensively, Green Bay is fine. Green Bay is a championship caliber team if you just look at one side of the ball. But the Packers, I mean, young, a lot to improve on, obviously. A lot of people are putting the blame on Jordan Love. I'm not really seeing that as much. I mean, a couple, he had the fumble where he tried to overhand it and the ball was already out of his hand. The play calling's not great, but I mean, it starts up front. You don't have enough time to block for passes to develop down the field. You don't have enough blocking working together for your run game. It's hard to run the ball. And the Packers are a team that really need to establish the run throughout a game to be able to open up those plays down the field and the passing game in general. But it was 10-0 before the Packers scored their first touchdown with 5 minutes to go. Just under 6 minutes to go before that first touchdown. Josh Jacobs always going to get his. He's always going to get his. Green Bay is not going to be shut out in a game or held out of the end zone in a game because they've got Josh Jacobs on their team. The owner of the franchise record holder for most consecutive games with Green Bay to score a touchdown that dates back to last season. I mean, he's going to get his, and he did it again with 5 minutes to go against Philadelphia, and looked like Green Bay had a chance to tie the game or take the lead there late. And the 4th and 1 where Philadelphia's defensive lineman called out what Green Bay was about to run. And of course, that is exactly what Green Bay ran. No timeout was taken after he said that. There was no audible. There was no nothing. They ran the play and lost the game pretty much on that play. So they did have another chance later on, but it was too little too late. You send your hurt kicker out there to attempt a 64-yard field goal to tie the game with 2 seconds remaining. I would have much rather have seen a Hail Mary attempt to Christian Watson or somebody down in the end zone, but I am not the play caller for Green Bay. Although I will say I play on all Madden, the hardest difficulty there is on Madden 26, and I'm 10-0 with Green Bay. Same team. I'm playing with the same team against the same opponents. Green Bay, call me. I'm available. I guess if I worked for a team, I wouldn't be able to make public fades anymore, but I guess I'll stick with public fades until, the phone starts ringing from Green Bay, Wisconsin. But 1-2, first losing weekend here on public fades, 26-14 overall here on the season. So still doing very good if you look at the overall record. I mean, there were 2 weekends that we went 2-2. Every other weekend we have been positive until last week. So still a lot to look forward to. It's a little bit different this week because obviously the guidelines, 80% or more of the public's money on one team, we go the other way. And, different factors go into the matchups and stuff on how I pick these games. But it's a little different this week because only one team fits that 80% model. So a few of the other ones, I've got 3 plays this week. The other ones are in the 70% range, and then the last one is 80%. So we are about to debut something here on Public Fades. It is official. I'm making this a part of the show. The Public Fades banned list, as well as the Public Fades no fade list. Okay. Now, there is a difference between these two. The public fades ban list, we will start with that. So what that is, we've got two teams that if the model goes their way, we're not betting that team. If 80% or more of the money is on their opponent, we're not taking this play. Obviously, the first one, Green Bay Packers. Welcome to the public fades banned list. Green Bay. Woo woo. The other team. We got two teams on the ban list. Cincinnati. That is until they get Joe Burrow back. I'm not going to bet Cincinnati to cover any game. They've helped us out. You know, Joe Flacco helped us out a couple weeks ago, but I just don't have enough faith in that Cincinnati defense. Whenever Joe Burrow comes back and they score 40 or 50 points a game, then we'll see. But as of right now, Cincinnati is on the public fades ban list. Now, the public fades no fade list. We got a few teams on this. So what that means is if 80% or more of the money is on these teams here on the no fade list, typically we would go the other way. But no, we're not fading these teams. These teams are blocked off until further notice. Welcome to the public fades no fade list, which if this is one of your teams, it's a good thing. Okay, just so you know. Seattle, welcome in Seahawks, no fade list here on public fades, as well as the Baltimore Ravens as long as they've got Lamar. If Lamar is not going to be the starter some week, then, you know, they don't apply. But as long as Lamar is their starter and healthy, then Baltimore will be on the public fades no fade list, including this week. Baltimore and Cleveland was one of those games that I was going to maybe mention on this show this week, but no, I'm not going against Lamar. Lamar's going to Lamar, and he does that every week, week in and week out. So we've got Seattle, we've got Baltimore, as well as the Detroit Lions. Now, a couple weeks ago, Detroit was favored 8.5 against Minnesota. In Detroit, they were at home, and Minnesota won outright. But I don't like going against Dan Campbell. I don't like going against the Detroit Lions with that offense and their great defense, especially when they're a team that if it's 4th and 6 or less, they're going to go for it every time. So whenever you give your team more opportunities on 4th down conversions, then it's a lot easier to obviously keep a drive alive and go score and keep yourselves in these games. So Detroit is on the no fades list, as well as the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about the struggling offense. A.J. Brown coming out on Twitch this week saying, hey, if I'm on your fantasy team, go ahead and drop me. Now, I think he was being facetious when he said that, but still, yeah, we're not going to fade Philadelphia. So public fades ban list, we got Green Bay, we've got Cincinnati. Public fade no fade list, we've got Seattle, Baltimore, as long as they've got Lamar starting, Detroit, and Philadelphia. So if your team is on the public fades no fade list, congratulations, they're good. That's basically all that means. So now we will get into the 3 plays this week. We're starting off Thursday Night Football. Now, please make sure you follow us on TikTok, because whenever we take a Thursday Night Football play, it will be posted on TikTok after I get done with recording this video here on Thursday. So it'll be out a couple hours before kickoff. So stay tuned for that. Follow us on TikTok at MD Minds, as well as Instagram and all other social medias at MD Minds, as well as hitting the subscribe button down below. Make sure you do that as well. So Thursday Night Football this week, we've got the Jets at the Patriots. 12.5 point favorites is New England. 72% of the money, 59% of the bets on the Patriots. Now for the Jets, Garrett Wilson has been ruled out tonight. Keyshawn Boutte and Ramondre Stevenson out for New England tonight. The Patriots are 8-2 straight up, 7-3 against the spread. New York is 2-7 straight up, but 5-4 against the spread. A few of these games that they've lost have come within 2 or 3 points. A lot of them of the ones that are that close have been game-winning field goals by the opponent. So 5-4 against the spread, not too bad for the New York Jets. Now, they've only got 2 wins on the year, but they are on that 2-game winning streak. They won 27-20 over Cleveland last week, and that came after trading Sauce Gardner to Indianapolis and Quinnen Williams to Dallas. And then the week before, they defeated the Cincinnati Bengals. Still showing some fight. Looked like they were packing it in. They were going to tank for the rest of the year, and now they're on a 2-game win streak. I really like Justin Fields and the spot that he's in. Now, I know he's not flashy. The box score for Justin Fields is god-awful week in and week out. I get it. But he's a dog. Come on, give it to me. He's a dog. You got to agree. So now the Jets have the Patriots on Thursday Night Football. Next week, they've got Baltimore. After that, they've got some winnable games coming up. So we'll have to see about next week, but the Jets might be on the show the few weeks after that. Patriots are, like I said, 8-2 straight up. They were 2.5-point road underdogs last week at Tampa Bay. Okay, they ended up winning outright 28-23. They survived the comeback the week before to Atlanta, 24-23. So Patriots haven't lost since week 3 against Pittsburgh, and that does include a statement win on Sunday Night Football in week 5 against Buffalo. We all remember that one, 23-20 win for New England. But it's about time for them to struggle a little bit. I really feel that this is a spot that I like to, take maybe their opponent, no matter who it is, but the fact that it is a divisional rivalry game on Thursday Night Football. A lot of the time, these games are snooze fests. We're looking for another snooze fest this week. Give me the Jets. There are too many points here on the board. Plus 12.5 for New York Jets at New England on Thursday Night Football. So that'll be the first play of the week. If you're tuning in here on Friday, maybe you didn't see the TikTok that was out. So make sure you go follow us. So anytime we do take those Thursday night games, you are in on the action. But if you're just now tuning in here on Friday or later in the weekend before Sunday's games kick off, we do have 2 plays for you, okay? Chiefs at the Broncos, 4 o'clock on Sunday, Chiefs minus 3.5. We got 71% of the money, 59% of the bets on Kansas City. They're 5-4 straight up and against the spread. Denver is 8-2 straight up, but 4-6 against the spread, although they're very good at covering as underdogs. So a lot of times they're the favorite by a few too many points, and the other team will cover. Kansas City really turned it on after defeating the Lions a few weeks ago, although they did fall to the Bills last week. The public really thinks they're in a bounce back spot this week. I just don't agree. This is a good, never say die Broncos team. They're 2 games ahead of the Chiefs already in the AFC West race. And they're really wanting to win the division. The Chiefs have owned this division for 5-10 years, it feels like. They win every time, or every season they win the division. It's time for somebody else. And I think Denver I think they're going to win this game. I'm definitely going to take them plus 3.5. If this line was the way it is in Kansas City, I might be thinking a little differently, but this is a game that Denver is going to get up for. Sean Payton's going to get the boys ready. Bo Nix is going to come out with his head on his shoulders. They're at home. Give me the Broncos plus 3.5 at 4 o'clock on Sunday. And then the third play of the day, Monday Night Football once again. We got the Cowboys at the Raiders. Dallas minus 3.5 point favorites. 80% of the money and the bets are on Dallas. They're 3-5-1 straight up, 4-6 against the spread. Las Vegas 2-7 straight up, but 4-5 against the spread. The plan was to ride with Las Vegas last week. We're not missing the same opportunity this week. They covered last week against Denver, the week before against Jacksonville at home. Both of those games were at home for Las Vegas. Jacksonville, they lost 30-29 in overtime, had a chance to go for 2 for the win there at the end of the overtime period, and were unsuccessful. But for the Raiders, the constant remains. Geno Smith and interceptions. It's where you need your lighter, and then you just kind of wave it around like Geno and interceptions. That stops this week. It really does. Well, at least for this week, it's not going to happen. Cowboys defense is one of the worst against the pass. Points allowed. Also not great against the run. They did pick up Quinnen Williams from the Jets. So, I mean, him and Kenny Clark are going to be some dogs up front, but I like a Ashton Genty touchdown this week. Minus 135 is what I'm seeing it at right now. I also really like, now hear me out, and put my money where my mouth is, what I just say. I like Geno Smith to not throw an interception. No interception for Geno Smith. Plus 122. Now, just want to get serious for a second. There is one worry in this play, and that is for Dallas to really come out playing behind the loss of their teammate Marshawn Kneeland last week. Terrible situation, a tragedy. Thoughts and prayers out to everybody affected by the passing of Marshawn Kneeland, family, friends, and the Dallas Cowboys as an organization. Honestly, I'm hoping the Cowboys win this week, but maybe the Raiders keep it close and cover that plus 3.5 because they are at home and it is Monday Night Football. And I do like the spot that Geno Smith is in this week, as much as it pains me to say. But those are the plays. We've got the Jets, Thursday Night Football, plus 12.5. Hopefully starting out 1-0 going into Sunday. And one play for Sunday, Broncos plus 3.5 at home against the Chiefs at 4 o'clock. And then Monday Night Football plus 3.5 as well for the Las Vegas Raiders at home against the Dallas Cowboys. So this is Public Fades, where we fade the public every week. We've had so many successful weekends this week or this season. So many successful weekends this season, although last week was our first losing weekend. So we're getting back on track, 26-14 overall. As always, I mean, don't bet your house. Who's out here, betting their rent for these plays? It's not me. It's who is calling me? Don't they know I'm filming Public Fades right now? It's a Thursday. Come on. Who's betting their rent? I mean, who would do that? Who would do that? I really need us to win. No, I'm not doing that. But yeah, bet responsibly is what I'm trying to say. Always, we're fading the public. Once again, we got 3 plays for you this week, and we're going to be winners again this weekend. Getting back on track here as we wrap up Week 11, Public Fades here on $1 Million Radio. And as always, we'll see you next time.